With the transfer window here, all Newcastle fans want are quick deals. So from revealing the recent market opportunity coming out of Manchester, to discussing the latest twist in the Joan Garcia race, to uncovering the recent development regarding Bryan Mbeumo's potential move to Newcastle United, to revealing the massive accolade Isak has just received. As per, join us as we'll break it all down and discuss the latest Newcastle United transfer news.
Let's go!
So starting off, Joan Garcia has made his decision, and it's a blow to Newcastle United. Despite interest from the Magpies, as well as Arsenal and Aston Villa, the highly rated Espanyol goalkeeper has opted to join Barcelona. According to a report from Fabrizio Romano, Garcia has agreed terms with the La Liga giants and will move across the city to compete with Marc-Andre ter Stegen for the starting role at the Camp Nou. The English clubs have been informed of his decision, ending any hopes Newcastle had of landing one of Europe's most promising young goalkeepers. Newcastle were believed to be in a strong position, especially given Arsenal's current trust in David Raya and Garcia's desire to join a club where he could seriously compete for minutes. But the allure of Barcelona proved too strong. Garcia's stock has risen rapidly over the past year, with performances that earned him widespread praise in Spain. Diario AS went as far as to call him one of the best goalkeepers in the world this season. High praise, and an indication of the kind of talent Barcelona are bringing in. For Newcastle, the focus now turns to alternative targets. With Garcia off the table and Nick Pope's long-term fitness still a concern, the club will need to act swiftly. Burnley's James Trafford remains the most likely option, with Eddie Howe reportedly making him his top target and a £30 million bid imminent. The England under-21 international has impressed with his composure and distribution and is seen as a long-term successor to Pope. While missing out on Garcia is a disappointment given the level of competition and the potential he offers, Newcastle still have viable options to explore. But with Champions League football on the horizon, ensuring strong competition and depth in the goalkeeping department is now more urgent than ever. However, with Luke Edwards saying that, I'm told there are lots of moving parts, as ever, with Newcastle's transfer plans, but they know who their top targets are. I anticipate two big signings, players who immediately raise the standard of the first team, and then a couple of young prospects on top of that. Much will then depend on player sales. It's clear that Newcastle's strategy is starting to take shape. There is little doubt that the two top targets are Bryan Mbeumo and Marc Guehi. Fabrizio Romano has provided a fresh update on Newcastle United's pursuit of Brentford winger Bryan Mbeumo, amid growing interest from several top Premier League clubs. The Cameroon international is coming off a phenomenal 2024-25 campaign, where he scored 20 goals and registered 7 assists in 38 appearances. With such numbers, it's no surprise that Eddie Howe has made him a top target for the summer transfer window. Newcastle have held positive talks with Mbeumo, and initial signs suggest the player is open to the move, especially given the Magpies' return to Champions League football. However, the situation is far from settled. According to Romano, both Newcastle and Manchester United remain keen on the 25-year-old, but Mbeumo has not yet made a final decision on his future. Speaking in his Give Me Sport column, Romano said, Manchester United and Newcastle United both like him, but, from what I heard, it's still an open story. As such, he emphasized that negotiations and decisions are ongoing, and nothing is close to being finalized just yet. Time could be a factor for Newcastle, as top club negotiator Paul Mitchell is set to leave at the end of June. With a hefty transfer budget already approved by the Public Investment Fund, the club is under pressure to accelerate talks before his departure. Despite the urgency, Newcastle must also fend off competition from Manchester United, where new manager Ruben Amorim is trying to convince Mbeumo to join, despite the Red Devils missing out on European football next season. What complicates things further is the recent commentary from journalist Ben Jacobs, who claims that Mbeumo is not prioritizing Champions League football in his next move. This detail could work in United's favor, despite Newcastle offering a more immediate platform for elite-level competition. Jacobs noted that while Newcastle may be the more sensible option right now, Manchester United's financial muscle can't be dismissed. Citing past transfer U-turns like the one involving Matheus Cunha, you can see what he means. Brentford manager Thomas Frank has been transparent about the situation, admitting that the club are willing to sell Mbeumo if a suitable offer comes in. He acknowledged the reality of Brentford being a selling club and accepted that Mbeumo may now be ready for a new challenge. Newcastle, meanwhile, see the winger as an upgrade on current right-sided options like Jacob Murphy, who, despite a strong season, faces doubts about his ability to maintain consistency at the highest level. While the race for Mbeumo remains open, Newcastle have laid solid groundwork and still look to be in a strong position. But with Manchester United lurking and Mbeumo not rushing a decision, the next few weeks could prove decisive. Then, as Newcastle United's summer recruitment plans continue to take shape, and the latest development involves Manchester City midfielder James McAtee. After a season in which squad depth was seriously tested, Eddie Howe and his recruitment team are targeting young, high-potential players to strengthen key positions, and McAtee appears to be firmly on their radar. The 22-year-old is now expected to leave City on a permanent basis, with reports from the Manchester Evening News confirming that the Premier League champions have given the green light for a transfer. Valued at around £25 million, he will not be travelling to the Club World Cup with City, and is instead likely to take part in the upcoming Under-21 European Championships this summer. McAtee's departure from Manchester City doesn't come as a huge surprise. While undoubtedly talented, he struggled to establish himself in Pep Guardiola's first-team squad, a challenge even for the most gifted young players. His technical ability, comfort in tight spaces, and forward-thinking creativity make him a strong fit for Newcastle's evolving midfield. With the potential departures of Joe Willock or Sean Longstaff, McAtee offers the kind of attacking spark and tactical flexibility that could thrive under Howe's dynamic system. Interestingly, Newcastle may hold a subtle advantage in their pursuit. McAtee is part of the provisional England Under-21 training squad alongside Tyno Livramento, and while the final list has yet to be confirmed, both are expected to make the cut. With the pair set to spend significant time together leading up to the tournament, Livramento could play a quiet but influential role in promoting life at St James's Park. Despite interest from several Premier League clubs and reports linking McAtee with a potential move to Bayer Leverkusen in Germany, the Premier League remains an enticing stage for ambitious English talents. Newcastle can offer a clear pathway to regular first-team football, participation in European competitions, and a fan base deeply invested in the club's meteoric rise. For a player priced at £25 million and possessing top-flight and European potential, James McAtee represents smart, future-focused business. And with a busy summer expected on Tyneside, his signing could prove crucial if Newcastle's midfield is reshaped in the coming weeks. Then in other Newcastle United news, Alexander Isak has added another accolade to his name after a sensational season, picking up the award for the most powerful goal of the 2024-25 campaign. The award was given for his thunderous strike in Newcastle's dramatic 3-3 draw with Liverpool back in December, a goal that was clocked at an astonishing 108.94 km/h. It was a moment that summed up everything about Isak: power, precision, and the ability to turn a game on its head in a split second. It's a fitting recognition for a player who's become one of the most feared forwards in the Premier League, and it's no surprise to see him being honoured again after finishing the season with 23 league goals. That Liverpool game was one of the season's most chaotic and entertaining fixtures, and Isak's opener set the tone with its sheer explosiveness. Still, it does leave you wondering how some of Newcastle's other stunning goals didn't make the cut. Sandro Tonali's laser-guided strike against Brentford and Jacob Murphy's rocket effort against Crystal Palace were both technically brilliant and had fans off their seats. Tonali's finish in particular, hit first time and perfectly placed, seemed like it should have been in the conversation. Likewise, Murphy's goal had pure venom written all over it. But awards or not, it's another reminder of the quality Newcastle now have in their squad. Isak's win is well deserved, but it's the fact that there's even a debate about which Newcastle goal was best that shows just how exciting this team has become under Eddie Howe. Then, with Joan Garcia off the market, in an exciting recent development, if you'd like to know the secret details behind Newcastle's latest imminent £30 million bid, click the video link on screen now.